the morning with coffee in your cup. Time to hang out with friends and chat it up. Bring a smile and good luck. Hit that like button and let's chat it up. Good times start with us, you and me. Good morning, welcome to the morning coffee show. Start the morning with coffee in your cup. Time to hang out with friends and chat it up. Bring a smile and good luck. Hit that like button and let's chat it up. Good times start with us, you and me. Good morning, welcome to the morning coffee show. Let's talk from in the shell and share good vibes and good times. Good friends and trends that bend the senses. Let's get a bit senseless. Welcome to the morning coffee show, where we bring good vibes and good times. Welcome to the morning coffee show with super fast Tortoise. Welcome to the morning coffee show, where we have the flow. Good vibes from head to toe. Let the happiness take you in.
Hey! Woo! Wait, we're missing someone. We're missing someone. Where did they go?
He was there like 2 seconds ago. You put the video up, and there was the first time I've seen this new awesome song, which is very cool and everything, and nice opening. And he's gone.
He's gone.
What happened?
He went to look for those cups. I think he went to look for the cups right now.
Go for the caps. Hey!
He saw all those cups on the video, and he's like, "I've got to go find the cups."
The world may never know.
That's right. Well, time capsule. Thank you for stopping by. You have a great day yourself. Good luck on the job today. Have a good day. Woo! We got Cane Shaker. Cane Shaker. Shaking that cane. Shaking that cane. We got DeLawson. What's up, DeLawson? Hey, welcome, my crazy friend. Woo! That's right. And the Balt's in the chat, just chatting it up. Yeah.
Yes.
How dare you be personable and friendly to people?
That's the best way to be. I got to say, just since I've gotten to Arizona, like, encounters with people have improved like 100%. It's not that there aren't nice people in California. I don't think I met any of them. I don't think I was running into them on a daily basis.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You're probably in a smaller community too.
Definitely in a smaller community for sure. Only one game shop. Like, that's pretty small for me.
Look at that.
There he is.
So I don't know what happened, but you threw me backstage, and when you started the show, and I'm like, okay, so save the best for last. I got you. Hey, welcome to the AJ Cowboy Dan Hour. They didn't want me to show up. They forced me backstage. They didn't want me to talk. They knew I was going to over chat.
Well, we started, the show started and you were gone. Like, you weren't even in the queue. Did you even have to get back in the queue?
No, you just pushed me backstage. It's it had me on the backstage. It says you are backstage.
Okay, I think some time went a little wibbly wobbly because it sounds like you had a couple of minutes sat somewhere where you just didn't exist for us.
Right. You just disappeared. Like, you were hiding your face. You were kind of shy, not so outspoken.
Mm-hmm. Oh, then I think you're living in a different universe, a Mandela effect universe of some sort, because in no reality is that a thing. There might be a reality where I'm a dancing clown, but never is there a reality of where I'm shy and soft-spoken.
Man, party people love you.
You know, there might be a reality where I'm part shark, part lawyer, but never is there a reality where I'm soft-spoken.
That's right. KBG says, nice people in California. Is that real?
They're there. I know they're there. I met them, but man, you had to work at it, I guess.
Yeah, if you want to meet those people, there's a community up just south of Mount Shasta, California, called the Village of Weed. Go and visit.
Exactly.
Those are nice people.
Oh,
It's a former hit.
That's actually more in Oregon or whatever
Well,
state.
it's technically California. It's on the California side of the Mount Shasta border in Shasta County.
There is a city called Weed in California.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
there is.
They got
It's
a truck. They got a truck stop there, and I stopped there one time.
It is a former hippie commune, and every time I go through there, I get the T-shirts that they have. They have like T-shirts that like rip off like every tourism T-shirt that you can get, and one of them says, "I survived Jurassic Park only because I visited Weed, California." It's a great shirt.
Nice.
Nice.
Cane Checker says he moved out of California back in '92.
Funny, I left California 14 years ago.
Ooh, 14 years ago. 14 years ago.
And haven't looked back.
No, that was 2004. Or 2000. Yeah, 2004, 2003-ish, or maybe 2006. I don't know. It's crazy. 2006, probably.
Mathis or
Yeah.
blockers.
It was your turn to get curb stomped, KJ, says Cane Shaker.
It's true. You know, he said he was going to ban me too. You heard it, right? He said that. He hasn't banned anybody in a while. He's getting anxious.
Is that what they mean by a shadow ban? You don't really know what's happening. You just find yourself on the outside.
No, a shadow ban is where you're banned by somebody so much bigger than you that when you look up, all you can see is their shadow.
And Cane Shaker, you're right. Math is hard. Math is hard. I struggle with math in that department. Surprisingly, I do decent in Magic the Gathering.
All you're doing is count how many board wipes you did. That's all.
I did very well with math because I mean, fortunately, I had Sesame Street, and I had learned how to count using a pinball machine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Wasn't that Square 4?
I thought it was
1,
Sesame
2,
Street.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. It was wasn't that Sesame Street?
I think that's Square 4, which is
It
on
could
the
have
same
been.
channel.
It could have been. Yeah, it was another PBS show.
Yeah, yeah, PBS. Because I remember watching the show. Those shows are fun. You know, like, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
Hello, neighbor.
Hello, my neighbor.
Would you like to be my neighbor?
That's right.
Oh man, all those shows from PBS back in the '80s were great. You know, we had picture pages. Bill Cosby and had a fancy magic marker, and he read books to us when we were kids.
Right.
Yep. I was also the hey, it's the Bad Albert Show.
Cane Checker says that is one of the cool segments on Sesame Street.
It was.
You know, fan theory, Mr. Rogers was Steve Rogers in the future when he retired from being a superhero.
Nice.
But anyways, I saw that fancy cup that Tabal was drinking out of.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, that is. You guys' cup.
One of the first things I unpacked when I got here.
Go.
Well, I got mine too. Turned out it got here, and Jesse got hers. Jesse's turned out really nice. And,
Wait, I got mine. Hold on.
well, you got yours halfway.
I mean, I was gonna say I'm looking at my coffee mug. It's definitely got coffee in, but it's got kitties on it.
How did I know there was
Yeah,
going to
I'm
be
looking at
cats in
it
the coffee mug?
You know, you want the other half of your Superfast. If you want your custody of Superfast Tortoise coffee mug, you have to come to the United States. We've all put this rule down. You know, there's no hiding in Britain. You got to come here like we did. Throw some tea into an ocean and say "Viva la USA."
Yeah, that's right. Sure. That's how it works.
You know,
That's
in an
how
Elvis
it
voice, "Viva USA."
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna hold my coffee mug at ransom.
yeah.
Ransom.
It's not at ransom. All you have to do is come over here and say a simple phrase while holding a tea bag over the ocean.
Wait, how can? Where am I meant to be, like in a plane holding the tea bag over the ocean, or am I just down on the beach?
I'm just trying to figure out what century we're in. I mean, it sounds like we're in the 19th century here.
Yep.
like, what are we protesting? Taxes from Great Britain?
Yeah.
Well, I think nowadays it's probably taxes from you, but
That's hilarious. But anyways,
I got a new favorite word. It's reciprocal.
reciprocal. That's right.
Reciprocal tariffs. My new favorite word.
Yep. I mean, KJ got his mug. He had to pay a tariff.
No, that was my face, and stop calling my mug ugly.
That's funny. KJ said, I think the show is great having Heather from Britain. It gives the show that international flavor.
Yeah, we're
There you
sophisticated here. We're sophisticated here.
We're so sophisticated. Like yesterday, we were talking about Deadpool and like how I thought it was a bad movie, and people were like, "It's no." They're like, "I like the movie." I'm like, being
It's
a
not
bad movie
for everybody. It's definitely not for everybody.
It's definitely not for everybody, but it was definitely not like I want to rewatch it kind of level show. No, I watched it once and I'm like, I'm done. Then somehow
I'm a degenerate at heart, and I appreciate where the Daredevil movies went with what little Fox had access to, especially considering that being a degenerate at heart, I appreciated the comic books, which were not necessarily comic books intended for the regular reader. It was already one of the most adult-themed comic books, and at that point in time, in the late '90s, after Deadpool was released, like the idea of having more of an adult theme, even though Marvel had since then abandoned the comics authority code and had started taking in a little bit more darker and more adult topics. Deadpool and a few others were the reason why Marvel Max comic book lines came out, and they were able to touch these things. They even had like a really gritty Iron Man series where literally it delves into real strong topics of alcoholism, abuse, and being just an overall horrible person, even though you're a superhero.
Yeah, I got something to show you, KJ.
Yup.
Yeah. Was cleaning out the room and found out I had these in my closet and totally forgot about them.
Ooh, nice.
All right.
That's nice.
I think these might be reprints because I don't know.
No, those are what they call newsstand editions because they have the barcode on it. Back in the day, especially back in the 80s and 90s, they instead of putting a barcode in the corner, they would put a little picture of the character that Marvel Comics was doing in the corner. Like sometimes you'd see a Spider-Man where the barcode's supposed to be, or you'll see a Captain America symbol like that one right there. There you
go. Yeah.
Okay, so one is a newsstand edition, and that's the one that has the barcode. Your comic book shop, your LGS that you would go to get your stuff, would have the ones that say have a picture instead of the barcode. Nowadays, they put direct edition next to the barcode because in the United States we can't sell any merchandise without it having a barcode. Ooh, Savage Dragon. Image Comics is pretty good. Savage Dragon did a lot of crossovers with a lot of different IPs throughout its years.
Yeah, for sure.
And the artist who came up with Savage Dragon owns Savage Dragon, like the right, so he can go wherever he wants, even to his own publishing company, and continue doing Savage Dragon.
Mhm.
He's one of the very few comic book artists that still own their own characters. Because when you go to a comic book company, you kind of like, okay, any character that you write and we publish now belongs to us.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Let's see. Kenny Shaker says, has anyone else thought the power and toughness 5'3" is a jab at Wolverine being short?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, 5'3", good one.
Yeah,
So
I like that. They did that in the comic where they made a short Wolverine in Deadpool, one of the Wolverines he met.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
So-
he was supposed to be a short character when they first made him.
I think that's funny. I think it's true though, and it kind of supports it kind of supports an actual reality. So which one of not Daredevil, Wolverine's former, one of his former teammates is actually shorter than him, and Wolverine always in the comic books makes a joke about him being tiny.
Huh? That's funny.
Give
Who is
up.
that? Yeah.
It'd be Puck.
Puck.
From-
Okay. Yeah.
From the Canadian
Alpha Flight?
team, Alpha Flight. Yeah. He's Puck is 2 inches shorter than Wolverine.
Huh?
I was,
That's funny.
I was thinking Jubilee.
No, Puck. He's a former Canadian wrestler with mutant abilities.
Yeah. Oh, we got Backwoods in the house. Backwoods, hello. Planting
The
those trees, but
Backwoods
we don't have to.
Collector.
Backwoods collector, collecting the backwoods, picking up the wood and starting a fire. He's cooking some fish over a flame. That's Backwoods collector. The song's kind of lame.
The backwoods.
K-Check is like, I can't type that fast, KJ. You need to give me time to type.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Sorry. I knew that. I knew that Tybalt had the answer, and I just like saw him like going, "Okay, this is the easiest question in the world." Of course, everybody knows the only superhero that's that Wolverine is with, that Wolverine likes to make fun of for being short.
My first guess would have been Jubilee first initially. But then
Jubilee
first hadn't started growing yet.
Jubilee was first introduced in the 90s show.
Yeah,
So,
she definitely.
Kind of like Harley Quinn was introduced in the show first.
Jubilee was one of 3 that was introduced in that particular 90s cartoon series.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Right, because the show's success made her a prominent character in the comics later on.
Yeah, that first I always thought like when that original cartoon came out, when that cartoon came out back in the 90s, I'm like, okay, this is going to be a Jubilee centric show, because like the first couple of episodes were highly based off of Jubilee.
Right.
Like so I'm like, okay, this is interesting. We're getting when I first saw it, and I remember thinking to myself, we're getting X-Men cartoon series that is Jubilee based. First 3 episodes highly based off of Jubilee, and if you think about it, really, I think they kind of, in order to make the X-Men movies back in the 90s, they kind of stole from Jubilee's storyline, for Rogue.
Yeah,
right. Well, they did that on purpose, because see, in the cartoon, they made Jubilee to be a young character, so younger crowds can follow the story and have someone to be similar with, to affiliate themselves with. I can't think of the correct word.
to identify with.
Yeah, identify. Yes, to identify with. They put Jubilee in there to be a young identifier, because all the X-Men were older. When they did X-Men the movie, they made Rogue the young one, so young people can identify with her character, made her the main character of the story. But instead, we got a Hugh Jackman with his sexy abs, He's Hugh Jackman, been Wolverine since the 2000s. Holy cow. The one X-Men character that's never ever had a replacement. I mean, they made a joke with Henry Cavill, but
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've been able to think about this because with this whole multiverse thing going in the way that they're approaching it, like, not gonna bag on the multiverse today, but I'm gonna say the way they're approaching the multiverse with the variants in order to explain away why there are different actors playing a character instead of just going, okay, I met Superfast at the supermarket, but he was actually his doppelganger was over here. These variants don't necessarily have to be that character, which is pretty good concept if you think about it, for Disney to finally find a way that nobody else has been able to explain. Why are there so many people playing Batman? Why are there so many people being Spider-Man?
right.
It is the most genius way to go. Well, they're variants. They're
Right.
they're not necessarily the doppelganger. They're like 4 universes removed.
Right.
You know, and it's absolute genius storytelling if you think about it. A lot of people say it's lazy, but sometimes out of laziness comes genius. Look at what Marvel did for 5 hours the other day on Twitter, showing the broadcast that I watched. 5 hours plus of just empty chairs with people's names on it, like Chris Hemsworth.
Huh? It's
On the chair, 5 hours of an empty
ridiculous.
chair, and then at the very end of it, Robert Downey Jr. Sits on a chair with his name on it, looks over at you, and tells you to shush.
Jesus.
Brilliant marketing. It might be lazy, but it's friggin' brilliant.
Right. All right. So let's actually roll on to the topic now. Roll on to the topic. Awesome conversation, though, by the way. Sometimes in life we need to work on big projects. Isn't that true? Sometimes we work on big projects and sometimes they're overwhelming.
Well, I agree with you. That's why I hang out with Jessie. So that way she has an overwhelming project to work on all the time.
Right. Sometimes we try to figure out the problems we have in big projects before finishing them. We try to solve them before we do the work. Trying to solve problems before working it out sometimes is hard. It's ridiculous. Sometimes you try to eat the elephant before eating it in pieces. Like you can't eat an elephant whole, so you got to cut it in pieces. But sometimes you look at the elephant like, man, how am I going to eat that all? Then we take the project step by step. We find ourselves in the middle without setting goals or direction. Sometimes we feel directionless and we don't know how to set goals because the project seems too big. We find ourselves overwhelmed, so we must take the time to start with baby steps and force ourselves to walk from the beginning of our project instead of the middle. And this way, we'll see the end of the project one step at a time. Deck building can be a whole process. It's a project in its own. Commander deck building in general. We have to build decks with purpose and with a meta memory, meaning metagame, know our metagame. We need to remember what types of removal we need, what type of games we need to play, and how to set a functional baseline for the deck we want to build. We have to look at our color pie and address the ways we can draw a mana fix in that color pie. And we get to place where we can feel lost. We get to a place where we can feel lost when building a deck. That is where playtesting a deck comes in handy. Anyways, I digress with that. Let's get more into this and talk about ways we can find ways we can deck build, get in the process and things. And we got the genius, the sensational to Balt here, who's definitely good at deck building.
No,
if you know the joke, I'm going after.
You want me to bring my wife in here is what you're asking me to do. I see. That's what you want me to do. Hey, I'm not ashamed to admit it. She has she's far surpassed me in deck building as far as commander goes. That's for sure.
Right.
But you talked about a couple of things that I think that are really good, and the fact that it absolutely is a process. What I was looking for, and I was trying to find out how long it had taken me to get there, but the best example I can think of is my Ghoul Color Gisa deck, which started out as a $35 budget deck. It was just $35. It was a budget, just absolute, good stuff, but budget. It's now about $313 now. But that didn't happen all at once. That happened over the course of years, and it happened sifting through bulk and finding individual cards that just made it a little bit better each time. And it's got to the point where if I want to play a strong game, I'm not trying to overwhelm the board or anything else like that or whatever, but if I want to play a strong synergistic game, I can use that deck with great consistency. Like I said, I don't win with it all the time or whatever, but I know I have fun playing it. But that grew from a very modest budget to start with.
Right. Well, let me get here. Hi, everybody. One thing I started is I'm working on a 5-color dragon deck.
Ooh.
I don't know how fast I'll get it done, but the other day when I went to pre-release, I was given like $20 to spend on cards, and I went through a box. And when I was going through the box, I'm like, you know what I need? I need some lands. And I figured out, being my play style, right, I had to get a board wipe, right?
Good call.
I'm joking about the board wipe, though. That was just in there for $1. I'm like, how can I pass it up? But anyways, I got basic lands, 3 green-white lands, a handful of blue-green lands, and a blue-white land. And I'm like, Bat is a color I can start the deck on. Like, I can color fix, but Bat is really good for getting to the colors I need, mana fixing and stuff. Green is really good. Blue's for draw. And white has some good removal, like board wipes. And so one of the hardest things to figure out in like a 5-color deck build is the mana base. And sometimes I think if you take a step back, instead of thinking how am I going to get 5 colors in a deck and get the perfect mana, I think you need to figure out what kind of mana do you want first in your hand that can help you get the mana you need for your later meta game. You know?
Yep.
And Backwoods got excited. Someone said Visa.
Good card.
Yep. But yeah, so like when you look at a project, like the thing about this 5-color dragon deck I'm building, since I got time to build it and I have the time to build it, like yesterday I went live looking at cards I want to get for the deck, and I was making a list to see how much it would be for the cards that are not in Tarkir yet, because there's cards from Tarkir I want, but I'm waiting for the release date to see the prices of those fluctuate. See what they're actually going to be. We'll see what they're actually going to cost. And I was pricing it out. I'm like, these are kind of steps. I was looking for some mana ramp. I was looking for removal. Hillbilly was there. You know, he could attest to what I was doing. Like, I was looking for cards that are staple for commander decks, and I was looking at the things. And like, I noticed green, black, and white were the colors I was focused on. But like, I know back colors is going to be the cards that help me draw a card, get places I need to be for ramp and mana fixing. So I'm paving a road so I can know where I'm going.
That's what I was going to ask you. So do you start out with a plan of where you want to head with the deck, or do you just look for opportunities along the way to increase power level or slot things in?
Well, like in this situation, hold on a second. In this situation, it's nice to have an office. I tell you what, you can definitely reach things a lot simpler, a lot faster. All right. So it's not like, so in this situation, I was given a commander, right? I was given, let me blow myself up again. Like a friend of mine quit Magic, and he let me have this card.
Nice. Ooh. There you go.
Right? It's on video mode, so it's not going to focus like in picture mode.
Well, focus.
Right. But then I went through my collection and I found out I had all these dragons.
Dang.
Right? All these dragons. All these dragons. So there's a good chance I'm not going to use a dragon. I think I saw a board wipe in there. Let's see. But anyways, found this stack of dragons. And I'm like, well, I got dragons for a dragon deck. I don't have like all the most powerful dragons in the deck for the deck, but I'm like, I have dragons, enough dragons to build a deck around. So there, I saved money in that road, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I started looking at the process of the dragons. I'm like, okay.
Sorry.
Man, you're excited about those dragons. Dragon one. That's fine. But like, yeah, so I'm like, okay, dragons is how I want to win with. And the first thing I normally do when I start building decks is I look at how I want to win. And just like my dinosaur deck, I figured I want to win with dragons. Like I like to win with dinosaurs. I want to win with combat damage, so I'm going to try to win with combat damage. And I'm like, how do I process this way to get there? There's certain cards I want. There's some cards I need. I need to find ways to get to the dragons quicker because I need all 5 colors. Because I got a handful of dragons that are just 3-color dragons, different colors from Jeskai, Abzan, Mardu, Grixis, Grixis, Naya, and stuff like that. Just all throughout the color pie, 3 different color dragons. And I'm like, well, the first thing I need to work on is fixing my mana. So I set myself a goal. I'm like, I need to find mana fixing cards. So I started looking for cards for mana fix. And I'm thinking I need removal. And I'm thinking I want to be like Tibalt and I want to run exile removal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, stop that graveyard shenanigans as much as possible. So I started looking for those black-white cards that exile target creature. I want to get a path to exile. I can't afford to get a path to exile on Swords of Plowshare right now because Swords of Plowshare is like $7.
If I was you, I would want to be like Tibalt's wife, not Tibalt over here.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Wow, that's a jab. A jab. So I'm thinking about this stuff and what it takes to get into the dragon deck of water removal. So I know the colors I want to start with is green, white, blue, then splash and black. The red would be the 5th color, like the splashed color, like the light color. Because I'm not running a lot of red. I'm running all these vibrant colors, but red is not the focus. So it's easier to think of like a 3-color deck that turns into a 4-color deck that can splash in a 5th color. I'm like, that gives me all this leeway to do this. Plus, I got some fancy cards in Tarkir, and I want to show you an example of a good card. Where is it? Is it up here? No.
While you're looking for that, let me ask you just actually, this goes to everybody else here. How do you not get overwhelmed by building this stuff?
I can't build. It's hard to build a 5-color deck. I find it hard. Sometimes I find it even hard to build a 3-color deck.
I can't find the particular card I'm looking for, and I know I have it. But I'll show you an example of a good card that splashes in. And this card, I'll say, was pretty banger in pre-release when I got to play it. Let me press the zoom focus button. Defibrillating current.
Nice.
Right? Defibrillating current costs black, white, red, or has a splash in 2 colors. Cards like these help you meld colors in, so if you don't have a specific color, you can meld in those costs. This particular kind of mana started in the Alolan block in Shadowmoor or Eventide. All right. But the spell I was looking for was a green, black, white card that exiled the permanent. And that's what I was trying to find out because I want to run it in my deck. Let's see. Let's catch up. My advice for every deck is pick a theme. Assign 12 to 15 slots to the theme. 5 to 8 slots for an interaction and choice based on theme. And 5 to 8 slots for the payoffs. This is for a 60-card deck. Yeah. That almost feels like a limited style deck too. But with Commander, I think you want 5 ways to win, 5 ways to get to heaven, basically, and you want a roadmap. You want your draw and your removal, and your ramp to get you to where you're going. Yes, and your interaction, your removal is very important. That's the ball. For instance, 8 copies of Scales effects, 15 or more creatures. Yeah. See, that is why Matt Saxon's only an apprentice. People are picking on you today, man.
That's right. That's okay. I understand. That's why I chose to be an apprentice. I'm always willing to learn from anybody and anything.
Backwoods Collector says my whiteboard process seems to work well for me, but that's me. No, look, I kind of do what you do on your whiteboard, but on a table, and I mana curve everything out. That's right. Yeah, Thibault's like whiteboard. Yeah, he's used to writing his Thibault's used to writing his notes on skin paper, paper made out of skin.
Yes.
Like
carving him into the Necronomicon there.
Yeah, I was about to say like the Necronomicon. I use a big whiteboard. It's hard to explain in chat text. Yeah, no, it makes sense. You explained it before. Like you actually draw stuff on the whiteboard. You magnetize cards and stuff like that.
I can't keep that many in my head. I have to have them in front of me. And so what I was going to say is my other thing about improving the deck or making it a process is I feel like if I change too many things at one time, then I don't know what works or what doesn't work. Because I feel like I've broken decks before by trying to make too many changes at one time and not realizing what the simpler synergies that are making the deck actually work.
Right.
Sometimes I could overlook those. So sometimes making incremental changes makes more of a difference or more of an impact that way.
Right.
I bet your wife would understand. Could do better.
I bet she would too.
Really, just comment. But no. On a serious note, though, when you get to a certain point where you get frustrated, either play test the deck or step away for a minute.
Yep.
Don't try to figure it all out at once if you don't have to. Figure it out one piece at a time. Sometimes playing a game lets you know if a card's going to be bad in your hand.
Yeah. There's no substitute for playing for sure. But looking at it for budget wise, do you guys find that you're setting aside money to get cards, or is it more like you're picking up pieces along my wife's apprentice? Are you finding that you're just like making changes as opportunity presents themselves?
To be honest with you, I kind of stuck with the cards I got. So when I get new cards, I'm kind of stuck with them. So sometimes if I have to, I'll see what I got in my repertoire of cards I already had. That might be better than a card I thought was going to be good.
Yeah, that's good too. That's always a good idea to go back and find out what you have that you've maybe overlooked, because as they introduce new effects, new keywords, new strategies, you might find that suddenly the bulk cards you had are worth a lot more than what you thought.
Right.
Playing
well,
that's
what's interesting. That's what's interesting about the bracket system. You might have game changers on the bracket system. They might add game changers later on to the bracket system, but they can't account for the synergy certain cards do for certain decks that are just bulk. Like you might have a card that says whenever a type of creature enters the battlefield, like say a merfolk comes in the battlefield, you draw a card. Well, you know it's a good card, but in a non-merfolk deck, it's not good. But in a merfolk deck, it's pretty banger. You know, I don't know if that kind of card exists, but the synergy in that deck, you know, that card's not going to be good in every deck. It'll just be good in that specific deck. And there's a lot of cards like that, where in your deck, the card you're playing towards your theme is stronger than just putting it in any other deck. And that comes to card assessment, right? That's what we was talking about, is assessing cards. Sometimes you over assess a card and think that card's going to be awesome, right? But when you play it, it's not as awesome. And you're like, then you realize the card you passed up a while back ago seems like a better option. Because the one thing I look for when I'm playing a game is how long I will hold a card in my hand, because it's just not good for the situation.
Yeah.
You know, and if that, like, I want to play my cards and I want to be forced to play my cards through the game play. If I get a card that just doesn't seem good in any play format, I want to replace it with something I'd rather play.
Yeah, you want to be drawing gas every time if you can.
That's
right.
right.
As often as you can.
Kevin G says, just pay money for the commander and fill up the rest with cards in that bulk bin. That is why my decks cost around $50 for a commander. Yeah, it's not bad. My Rafik deck started out exactly how that went. Then viewers of the channel and subscribers started sending me viewer mail and started upgrading the deck accidentally.
Cool.
Well,
that wasn't accidental. That was intentional.
Hey, look. Yeah, I'm gonna shill really quick, but a deck that I'm talking about, the Rafik and the mini deck, the giveaway deck's built similar to the deck that was built, just got upgraded because of viewer mail. You know,
nice.
Yeah. Robert's Table. Hello.
What's up, Robert's Table?
Good morning.
But yeah, remember everybody, if we reach 1,000 subscribers, we got a giveaway that will be unlocked. Giving away a Rafik of the mini commander deck that is pre-con style, built like a pre-con, upgraded to be upgraded. The only thing I really need to be upgraded is the lands. I couldn't afford all the lands for the deck. Plus, you'll get a playmat and possibly a coffee mug.
Cool.
So, hit that subscribe button. Let's get there. That's right.
That's right.
I know I'm kind of a sinner myself. I don't drink out of one of my coffee mugs. I drink out of a thermos mug because it keeps the coffee hotter longer.
You can make just about any one a. You can always cheat, and you can add this to your cup later.
Yeah,
that's what I did. That's exactly what happened here. Because I only got 2 stickers left. I don't know.
Oh man!
Ooh.
Hey,
Lone Wolf. Arr! What's that? Yeah, we're kind of making howling at Lone Wolf a thing.
Probably everybody does.
Right. So who needs expensive lands when you play green? Just tutor for those basics. Well, the Bat deck needs to rely on good lands to come into play, because all your plays are trying to be turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, turn 4. It's a pretty aggressive commander deck. Yeah. You should get a turtle shell mug SFT, right? Like, you know, I do own mugs like the one that the Balt's drinking out of, that Hillbilly's drinking out of, the one KJ just got in the mail yesterday.
Yeah, and the one that I'm holding hostage until we can afford to send an international package to Jesse as well. So, you know.
Right. We do have mugs. We do have mugs. We got channel mugs. Thanks to Cane Shaker and his generosity to the channel, helping the channel get where it got, where we were able to order mugs and ship them off.
Yeah, they're beautiful kind. You know, I mean, I'll tell you what, they're big. You know,
they're 16-ounce mugs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're as big as this mug. It's just this mug looks bigger because this lip right here is where the lid goes. Yeah. But yeah, so many great things about building decks has got got us to this point. And that's what we're getting into. The deck building. The first thing I think is best to do when you deck build to help your process is give yourself a goal and give yourself some win conditions. That works for me. That's my opinion, right? Give yourself your win conditions first. And this is how I was taught. Give yourself win conditions and how you want to win in your deck. Then build your deck to lead you up to those win conditions. Start with your mana fixing. Start with your draw and your removal. Your mana fix and draw removals are pretty good. Then sprinkle in your board wipes. Then sprinkle your other creatures in there. Have your deck have a purpose. Have your deck lead to where you're going to go. That's my basic thought process on deck. Because building a deck is a huge process. Putting 99 cards together, especially I understand it's kind of easy nowadays for people to put 99 cards together because they're used to it now. But when I started playing Commander and was playing the 60 card format and only allowed a single of every card back in the day when you didn't have as much functional reprints or similar things, it was a difficult process to build a deck. Now it's a little more simplified, but the process is still just as intricate and confusing if you don't know what you're doing.
Right.
That's right. Keb G says, I just play group hug with no win conditions. Some people do that. Some people do that.
Yes, we do.
There's never a win condition for a group hug. Too many people touching.
Well, group hug. I know a group hug deck that has a win condition. It's a slow win condition, but it's called Nexar the Mind Razor. You make everybody draw tons of cards, and they lose life for drawing all those cards.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to back up like Shieldred of the Apocalypse now.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's lots of ways. There's a lot of group hug decks, or Feldegriff if you want to play Feldegriff. That's a deep cut for those who don't know Feldegriff. Look it out.
Yes.
And thinking of a card, there was actually a card for today. I chose this card because this card overperformed every time I played it, but I don't know if I'd play it in Standard. Jeskai Revelation was the card of the day today. It costs 4 generic, a blue, red, and white. It's an instant. It's a return target spell, so it's kind of like a soft counter spell, or a permanent to its owner's hand. So like creature, planeswalker, whatever. Then Jeskai Revelation deals 4 damage to any target. Then you create 2/1/1 white monk creature tokens with prowess. And you draw 2 cards and gain 4 life.
Wow.
I would definitely play this in Standard. Because I know it costs so much, but there's ways to make this cheaper.
Yeah, there's probably ways to make this cheaper. I mean, because this costs 4, 5, 6, 7 mana to play. But in Limited, this is a banger. This is like a soft board wipe in Limited because you bounce 1 creature to their hand and you destroy another creature. And then you get 2 creatures. You get 2 card draws. You gain that life. It's pretty powerful. Even
That's a lot.
Power Dragon made a video. Power Dragon made a video saying you should build a deck around this card if you like this card.
Mm-hmm.
What was that, Tabal?
I just said, yeah, that's a lot of stuff stacked on that card for sure. It's expensive, but yeah, that's a lot packed into it.
Oh, yeah. But Jeskai Revelation was the card of the day because it was a fun card. And the art on it, it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a artifact right now that's in Standard that ticks up every turn to make your spell, your instants and sorceries cheaper.
Nice. And there's that dragon in Standard now that gives your sorceries flash.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Nice.
Looking at sites like Tapped Out or EDA Trek and other sites will give you ideas for cards to use. That's right. That's right. There are resources to look at cards like EDA Trek. I like a lot. I go to EDA Trek a lot to look at cards, to look for cards. But I also look at the prices of cards too, and that's what's nice about EDA Treks. And I'm not saying Tapped Out doesn't do it or not. EDA Treks will show you cards that people are looking at and tell you the price of cards on different websites that are commonly used.
Mm-hmm.
And what the hell are you spelling? Sites. Yeah, return that land. Sometimes returning that land is a powerful move. Pioneer play it with Torrential Gearhawk. Nice. But yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. Pretty cool thing.
So do you always start by upgrading your mana base?
Upgrade? No. I can't always afford to upgrade my mana base, so I work my mana base to be as best as I can. I'll run the jankiest fetch lands possible. Like you won't believe this, but out of Modern Horizons 3, the one card type I was excited for was all the fetch lands for the 3 different colors.
Yeah.
The ones with cycling, the little terramorphic expanses, but they fetch 3 different colors. I got a handful of those. I've put them in decks. Fetch lands all the way. Even though they come into play tapped, they help fix the mana. And I still got a full roster of 10 that I got from my dragon deck. I don't know if I use all 10, but I got a whole full roster of 10 of those, like for each 3 color pairing. I can use whatever I need to in my commander deck.
Cool.
Yeah.
You know, there are cheap budget options, and because like most cases, you just need one of each land in a 5-color deck.
Right.
Most cases, not all cases. Cane Shaker says start with shocks, fetches, and some type of dual lands. Yeah, you can just send those to me. I won't. You have my address, you know.
Well, I think that's the important thing is that you can always start out budget variants and then increase them later as you get the opportunity, whatever that opportunity may be, whether it be cash or a mail day or whatever. You can always upgrade them later on.
Right. Or if you get lucky and someone sends you mail, like there's a couple pool games I went into. Like one time, Hillbilly bought me a cool game. I got 2 fetches out of it from Captain Waffles. Those went to decks. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
You can always send me your rare lands too, Hillbilly. You got my address. I'm kidding. I'm playing around. But yeah. And you know, it's been amazing. And it's so cool that everybody here on stream, we reached a dream goal where everybody on stream, more than 2 of us, are drinking out of a tortoise mug of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Everybody on stream in one fashion or another has a tortoise mug.
Right.
Whether or not they have it in their hands directly.
Right. And that's 5 people. Whoop, whoop.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. So here. Cheers to that. Yeah, dance. A dream goal is created. That's right. Thank you, Cane Checker. But anyways, it is time, my friends, that we get to
hit that subscribe button. Become a part of the creep.
Too much to take. Show is lit. MTG3, are you game? Rise, creep, rise, building a following as we gain. Spitting fire like a dragon, no one can bring us down. MTG3 in the house, we own this town. Ripping through the beats with a fury.
Well, everybody, if you're enjoying today's show and want to see more shows like this, more fun interaction and talks, usually we're more kind of casual. Tomorrow's Q&A day, by the way, so if you want to join and have people possibly ask questions and whatnot, tomorrow's Q&A day, question and answering, because that's Wednesdays. But anyways, we're going to get to the show section, and if you're ready for it, Kitty Cat Howiller, it is your turn.
All right. So back to the usual schedule, although I am still readjusting to being back on this time. My parents are normally way asleep when I am streaming, so it's just readjusting my clock back again. But if you're on my Discord server, there is a poll going with a couple of options for tonight's game. If there's something you would rather see, you can always leave it a comment there on the Discord to let me know. Otherwise, I will probably pick something from there. So I'm still working back into it. My brain's not quite got out of the I don't have to do much mode.
Right. Well, any hoot. When she gets collected, check out her channel. Her link's in the chat. Woo. How awesome. You did a good job. All right, now for KJ Cowboy Dan. You ready for this?
Oh, you ready for this? Come on, y'all. I want you to get your heads in the jar. I want you to get your jars all cleaned up. It is time to listen to me talk about things. And those things are what I'm doing this week. Tonight, I will be hanging out with Jessie Hellwheeler on her Twitch page. Join us on twitch.com for Miss Jessie Hellwheeler's, as she said earlier, her Fred, I can't remember the show. Simulation Tuesday. I had a brain fart. Sorry. Simulation Tuesday with Jesse. I'm going to be there.
I mean, it only happens every week, so it's not like it's a name that's easy to remember or anything.
I'll be backseat driving, so join us on Jesse's Twitch page for that. And Wednesday, Jesse and I are going to do Procrastinating Across the Oceans. We have a lot of fun with that. Got a little bit of a plan, not much, but we're going to ask Jesse about her vacation. We're not going to plan any more of her vacation for next time around because you guys gave us way too many ideas and we're already broke. So we're going to put a little AI game together for the end of this show where we're going to pit ChatGPT against Twitter's Grok, and we're going to use UChat to decide who is the winner and comes out on top, ChatGPT or Grok, tonight at 6 Central.
Whoop, whoop. Check it out.
I went a little overboard on that.
You're good. You're good. Just simmer. You're all right. Don't worry. You're all right. You did good. You're right. No.
I'm good.
All right.
I'm simmered. I'm no longer at a boil. I am like slightly rumbling with a little bit of bubbles.
Goose Fraba. All right, Debalt, your turn.
All right, I am back. I'm going to be joining you as often as I possibly can at this point, which may not be all the time, but it will be more often now. I finally made the change. We are now moved to Arizona. So this is the first official broadcast from the Cave of Wonder. It's the Cave of Wonder because I wonder how the hell I got here. But I have my own studio of sorts now. So I am looking forward to being able to join you guys. Of course, this means that the store Dark Ritual is open again on TCG Player. But I'm looking forward to joining you guys and learning more about how to play Magic.
Cool.
It's crazy to think about this. I just thought about this just now, how you and I both got our own caves at the same time.
Yes, we did. Just about, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
And thinking
I'm
about
having some problems with my cave, though. You can see it's being invaded by other things at this point.
That's right. Monsters. Thinking about skipping people, we got Hillbilly. Hi, Hillbilly. All right. No, I'm kidding.
Hey, everybody. Today is Tuesday. Today is Dark Cure Dragonstorm Day on Arena. And also, being Community Day, Viewer Day, you can come to Arena right after the show here and challenge me into some games. Now, I got to have a little bit of time to build some decks because we still got some Dark Cure packs to open and build some decks. But all that starts at 12 o'clock here in just a few minutes right after the show here.
Nice.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. A few minutes after the show. Let's get it. Let's go. And today is Tuesday. Normally I'd be playing Commander with Hillbilly tonight, but Hillbilly is not doing Commander tonight. So he's going to be streaming Dark Cure all day. Well, I don't know how all day it is, but he'll be streaming. And he said he's not doing Commander tonight. So for those who want to follow, I will be going live around 6 o'clock. I'll be doing something a little fun. Come check it out. If you need to, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications, so when I do go live, you're notified. But with that, I want to thank everybody for being on the show. Hillbilly, Tabal, Hillbilly, KJ, you are rock, you are roll. Everybody in chat, you've been so amazing, keeping up with us and keeping us lively, because without you, beautiful chat, we wouldn't be having a great show like we are today. But I'll remind you, what's up?
Commander will start back on this next Tuesday on my channel.
Yeah, I think people have figured that out.
Oh, well,
Because
just throwing
today
it
was
out
a
there.
specific day.
Yeah,
we're
just
good.
throwing it out there.
Right. But yeah, so I want to remind you, everybody in chat, that you're loved. Someone's thinking about you. And if you can, brighten someone's day, because you might be the change they need in today. But with that, thank you to all my members for making this channel amazing. And everybody who's not a member but subscribed, you make this channel amazing as well. Now let's get to that outro. Peace.
Start the morning with coffee in your cup. Time to hang out with friends and chat it up. Bring a smile and good luck. Hit that like button and let's chat it up. Good times start with us, you and me. Good morning, welcome to the morning call.